it's the first left, right, you know, if you're going down Oneida.
Yeah.
And then you'll pass the public service or whatever, and then there's that old crappy apartment complex and the Boys and Girls Club.
Yep.
Right there, take a left.
Inside the quiet interrogation room, Francis sat across from the investigator. The moment a murder case was mentioned, his face shifted, and the tension in the air grew unmistakably heavy.
Tell me what you know.
Well, I was freaking out, and then I called you.
Yeah.
After I was looked in my apartment, I called you right away, and then Jordan showed up with her mom.
Okay.
And she was pleased. I go, what is going on? And she told me that murder or some crap.
Steve is under arrest for homicide right now. It's been an ongoing investigation. His name came up, so we started doing our research on him and the information that we've gotten. And I'm sorry, I can't get into great detail.
That's totally understandable.
But led us to arrest him for homicide. And this is involving the Nicole Vanderheiden case from back in May.
The one out in Alouette? With the husband?
No.
Let go? Or something?
No, this one was, it was the weekend of May 21st. Her body was found over here on Hoffman Road. So it was from back in May. So we've been working on this for several months.
Okay.
So at any rate, the information we got led us to Steve, and that led us, and we've been watching him for several weeks now, and obviously we figured out his chain with you. So that would have been the search warrant at your place.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I can't get into great detail on what exactly we took, but it wasn't focused on you at all, anything like that. And I want you to know that you're not.
I had no.
You're not in trouble here. You're not under arrest. You're free to leave any time. The door is not locked.
That's fine.
You know, around the corner, the exit's right there. I don't want you to feel like you're in trouble in this at all. Okay. If you're willing, it sounds like you're having your phone right away. If we can download it, that may help us just piece together any contact you had with him.
100%.
And there very well may be nothing of value to us in there, but it would, it'd be helpful for us.
Oh, 100%. Take it.
Sounds like you're good to go with that. So this is the consent search form, so I'm just going to go through that with you.
Yeah.
Do you have an ID?
Yes, I do.
Police revealed they had been watching Steve for weeks. The morning's search wasn't aimed at Francis, yet the truth did little to erase the unease shining clearly in his troubled eyes.
How old are you? 33.
Like I said, I called you 3 times, and then I tried to call Brown County Sheriff's Department.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was in another interview talking to more people, so.
So I don't have to fear nothing or anything. Thank God when you guys came in, I usually had my dog. I had a babysitter every day.
So, and we know we have a dog there, so but I mean, we knocked and everything before, so we didn't hear barking or anything, so we kind of figured it wasn't there. She not great people friendly.
Well, I'm sure other people.
She'll
with your face to death. It's just that type of dog that.
Oh yeah, I got it. When you really get the case up, what I would like to do is just get the model number, and there's like serial numbers or FCC numbers in the back. What kind of phone is it?
Samsung 6.
Galaxy S6.
Yeah, I believe so. No, it's just you fucking trust me. Also, I know you probably don't want to answer this, but he had another phone there that wasn't activated. That was sitting there. Like I tried to look for it, I wasn't bring it down to you guys.
Right.
But
We probably have it.
okay. So.
I'm going to look front here and find print this SPC number, which is unique to the phone, so it's going to be that. It's kind of an identifying number. So it's really hard to read.
He's just been staying with me for a couple months now.
Okay. And that's the kind of stuff we want to find out about.
The Jeffro, this is staying with Jeffro, and prior to that, because when I first met him at Dickhead's, he was staying at someone's house over there, by Broadway. I don't know the person's name at all. I know anywhere they live.
The Samsung phone on the table became the focus. Investigators wanted its data, knowing that any message or call stored inside could unlock a critical clue leading closer to the truth.
Alright, so here's our consent form we go through, we send your information up top there. Do hereby volunteer to search your Samsung Galaxy S6 with the SCC number, which state that the above is owned, controlled by you. Such permission to search the property is given by freely and voluntarily, without force, threats, duress, or coercion of any kind. So let's get started. Bob, now it's me. Obviously, I'm not going to do it. I'll give it to one of our techs. I can just plug it in and do a download. So I go, that's sign there. Like I said, the point is I don't want you to feel like you have to do it.
You want me to date it?
No, it's up there.
Okay.
I'll give you a copy of this right away.
You guys don't go through my bank statements or anything like that, do you?
On the phone?
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be our concern here.
I'll just see how broke I am. Laugh at me and stuff.
Let me go give your phone to our person, and is there a passcode on the phone?
Oh, all you do is turn around like this.
Just swipe.
Swipe.
Okay. So just a minute, just turn around it. I'll be right back when we'll be talking, okay?
All right.
So, like I said, we served a search warrant at your place this afternoon. I'm sorry, this morning. The records on that are court-ordered to be sealed. So unfortunately, like I said, I can't share exactly.
I looked around and it just seems like my stuff was just wrong. You guys looking for something.
We looked through everything.
Right.
But your stuff was not targeted, but nonetheless, we had it.
Right.
So the stuff we took, I'm pretty sure is mostly Steve's.
If you want to come back over and everything, feel free.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you being so upfront and cooperative with it. Makes things a lot easier on our end.
You guys check the shed on and back too?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just making sure, because when I looked at Bailey, what I saw was the branch was still there. I was just making sure.
I peeked in, I saw it was just a more microwave, whatever, so yeah. What I'd like to do is just kind of get a background on how you met Steve, how he came to be staying with you, what you know about him, how long have you known him.
Francis recalled meeting Steve for the first time at a local bar. The man introduced himself with many names, one being Big Country, then slowly began showing up more and more in his life.
I'll go back to the particular dates in May that we were asking about, if you recall anything. I realize this was months ago.
Oh, right.
You may not.
I didn't know.
Maybe you didn't even know.
My birthday was April 25th, and I didn't meet him yet.
Okay.
And then he started coming around to Dickhead's, where I frequent at. It was right by the house.
Yeah.
And they have a safe ride, or walking distance. So I just started chit-chatting from there.
Do you remember about
Time?
you said it was either around your birthday or after your birthday, or?
It was after my birthday.
Short, like, if you had to take a guess, if your birthday is
End of May?
April, it's around the end of May, you think you may have been?
Possibly. It's been a while.
Oh, yeah, no, I understand. I realize you may not have exact dates and everything. So you met Steve towards the end of May, or I'm sorry, beginning of May, maybe?
Sometime in May.
Okay. name or his full name, or?
He introduced himself as Big Country,
Okay.
and then he told me his name's Steve. Hence in my phone, his name is Big Country, aka Steve. Or Country.
Did he tell you his last name, or
Not right away, but
eventually?
eventually.
So what do you know him as right now, like other than Big Country?
Oh, Steve, I always forget his last name. No one says it with a B.
And I don't want to, like, try to put words in your mouth or anything, so I'll just leave it at Steve B. If you think of it, just tell me, okay? So you met him at Dickhead's, or Craniums in May sometime?
Sometime.
If you had to narrow that down with, like, your birthday, for instance, do you think it was, like, close to the beginning of May or later
I
in
would say
May?
end of May. To be truly honest. And that was just for a little bit. And then he left. And then he kept coming in and talking to everyone. Yeah. Like I said, I frequent there quite a bit.
Okay. So you go there quite a bit, and then he also started.
He started to, yeah. I think I know Jeffro very well. So, I saw me and him are regulars there too, so.
Okay.
Steve pushed to stay over, giving reasons about work, money, and family. In Francis's memory, every story the man told seemed blurred, leaving him unsure where truth ended and lies began.
Yep.
And I haven't put his fingerprint in here, so we can turn off the passcode.
There should be a passcode.
Or just, I could turn off the swipe so that it just has
Oh, you want-
this.
So what do you want me to do?
You just have to put in your fingerprint.
To back up, you want me to push back up, then do it?
Where?
I have no idea. Is it this? Oh, there. No match.
Did you ever have to do it before?
No,
Huh.
I never did.
Well, if I can try and do it without it and see what happens.
I'm stupid with this thing, so. I don't know.
It's okay. I can try and do it without it. It's not a big deal.
That you typically just swipe to get in?
Yeah.
I've never had a test go on it before.
Okay. Try to do it without it. See what happens. Thanks.
If not, I can also bring him back to the facility so they can get that out of there and bring it back.
Wait, we'll see what you can do. Okay, see what happens. Who is Jeff River? How do you know him?
Jeff Herman, same thing.
Jeff Herman?
I believe that's his, I just call him Jeffro.
Jeffro?
Yeah,
Like not, like Jeff.
Jeff, or Jeffro.
How do you know him just from the bar?
Yep. He's another regular. Once in a while I'll see him out, look at my brother's bartender at that, I see he come in there once in a while.
Okay. Past going out of the bar, you don't really know him?
No,
Okay.
never know him outside.
How did you get to know Steve a little bit, just from being at the bar, and then how long ago did he end up staying with you, or what do you know over? You said he was staying over there somewhere.
He was staying over, it was right over by Dickhead's. If you go, I don't know if it's your first left or second left. It's in one of those cul-de-sac areas. If I see the house, I most definitely can figure it out. But he said he was staying there with a buddy, and I always joke around. He told me he was from the East Coast, like Missouri or whatever. And he said that his buddy wanted to move out here, so he moved out here.
So yeah, sure it's a street name, but it's a cul-de-sac over near Dickhead's somewhere.
Yes.
And then he moved in with his buddy.
He's told everyone he got kicked out.
Steve once claimed his mother had died and left town, yet only days later he returned blaming unfinished land paperwork. To Francis, the tale sounded full of troubling contradictions.
Or no, he told everyone that he was going back home because something with the family and the land, his mom passed away, and he left, he went there, and then 3 days later, he called me saying he's on his way back to something with the courts, it wasn't finalized or something, and that if he could stay with me at the time, and I told him no, and then then he called up Jeffro and asked if he could stay with him, so he started staying with Jeffro, and then his daughter moved back or something, was moving back, and his wife didn't want someone unfamiliar living there while her daughter's there, so then he asked me, I go, okay, that's fine, you can move in, stay on the couch, save up some money, because Jeff got him a job, save up some money, and then you can basically get out, or we can find a place, because I wanted to get a big place and bigger yard for my dog.
Yeah. But initially, when he moved into this place in the cul-de-sac, he said it was with his buddy from the East Coast.
He just told me it was a buddy.
Just a buddy?
Yeah.
Did he ever say where he moved from? Did he mention
Like Missouri, somewhere, or Mississippi, or not Missouri, but somewhere out there.
somewhere from the East Coast?
Yeah. I know he told me, but for some odd reason, Missouri comes to mind. Just wanted to know.
So, when was the talk about him getting kicked out of here or having to leave there? Out of the original place in the cul-de-sac? What did you say about that?
I would say right before he took a Greyhound left.
Do you remember about when that was? Like, you had to say,
Like,
I mean,
he was with
there,
I would say
September.
2 months he's been living with me, roughly.
Okay.
And then prior to that, he was with, I'm going to say Jeffro for 2 months, so what, after that? Or 2.5 months he's been staying with me, something like that.
He said, so he's been with you about 2 months, he's staying with Jeffro for about 2 months, you think?
Yeah. Maybe if that,
And then Jeffro had his daughter move in or something, so he didn't want Steve around.
no, well, yes, and his baby mama, or whatever, so-called her mom, said that she's not gonna let her come back if someone else that she doesn't know is in the house. They called me up on a blue, he's like, can I have it?
And prior to that, he had gone back to the East Coast.
Tried to move in with Jeffro, yes.
Francis described how Steve disappeared for 3 or 4 days before suddenly reappearing. Those missing days now raise suspicion. Could they connect directly to the violent crime under investigation?
You remember how long he was gone?
3 or 4 days, possibly. Because he was gone, and then I'm coming back home because the court system or whatever wasn't letting him go on the land, or he said his family, like an uncle and aunt lived in the house, and so he couldn't go on the land because they wouldn't let him because something with court.
The place on the cul-de-sac, if we looked at a map, would you be able to find it out, or?
Do you have a picture?
We
Can I go to Google Maps?
We can look at Google Maps and see if we can find it.
Because they show pictures of the street and everything, right?
Yeah, a lot of times.
It's on the right-hand side. If you take the left, it's on the right-hand side, on the end of the cul-de-sac. It's going that way.
Okay, so like
Yeah, away from.
west on Fifth
Yes,
Street?
yes. It's either, could be that, or it could be also this, because I forgot that there was back ways too.
Okay. So one of the side streets off.
Right,
Fifth.
100%.
So Fifth and then
Take a left.
south off of Fifth on one of the side streets. Do you know which side of Ashland it might be on?
It's on, I believe it's on that one.
This side?
On my way home, I can also drive by and then, and get the address.
Okay.
But I never, one time I ever been there is when he had to drop off his truck, when he had one. And then he walked back to the bar and stuff.
Okay. That's all right for now, if you know it was in this area. So let's say it's on one of the side streets to the south of Fifth.
Yeah.
Okay, okay,
So you take a left, and then it's on the right-hand side.
okay.
Francis describes the house where Steve once stayed. Memories feel hazy, but still enough to sketch a portrait. A drifter sheltering in the shadows of side streets, occupying corners of life often ignored.
So he was virtually there when
When he met everyone.
started going to the bar, met everybody. Do you know about where he was working or what he was doing
No
those
clue.
days?
No clue.
Okay.
Because every time I contact him, say, hey, you want to come out and have a drink kind of thing, he always said he was broke.
Okay.
And he said the person he was living with made him pay, what was it, $150 a week or something like that to stay there.
Okay. Now is that this place? So
Yes.
that's-
Yeah.
And at this point, he was, most lately, he's working in Jeffro?
When he came back from, when he took his trip or whatever. Yes, Jeff got down and down. And that's when when he was getting, he's like, I got a job and everything, and so I can give you money, but told him to help him out to get on his feet, I was just gonna charge him $150 to sit on his stupid couch because it was a one bedroom.
Yeah.
The majority of the time, after I started dating Sarah, I was gone, so.
When, do you remember, you said when he had a truck, what was he driving, or when that was?
It was a gray F-150. He had subwoofers in it, shit, I even brought him around my freaking family when they would put across these for a party or something. Just,
And do you know where that truck was from, or have you ever seen him driving anything else?
and I personally never seen him driving another one, but he did say he had another one or something like that. I don't know what type. What happened to it, his stories, like, he told me that either one night he told me his buddy took it back because he bought it from him, but since he wasn't coming out with payments or something, he took it back, and then he told me it was stolen. And then on a drunken night, he's like, I asked him if the cops ever found the truck, and he goes, yeah, they found it burnt.
Was he referring to this F-150, or is that?
That's the only truck that, like I say,
So he did talk about it being stolen and
Yeah.
burnt?
yeah.
Investigators press into late May, linking his timeline to the homicide. Francis falters, offering fragmented memories that clash with known facts, leaving investigators with more questions than answers.
The dates of the case that we're working on goes back to May 20th, it's a Friday, into May 21st.
Okay.
I know you kind of said you're thinking it's towards the end of May when you really met him. Like I said, it's a homicide investigation involving the victim was Nicole Vanderheim. So what we're basically just trying to get a timeline of where
What was she all
he
involved
was
in?
that weekend. It was, or I guess what do you mean by what she involved in?
I don't know, possibly how, I can't even say that, because he crossed paths with all the friends that you have now are,
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, I understand if this goes back to May, so I mean, if you don't remember, you don't remember. I don't want you to feel like you have to tell me something just for the sake of telling me, okay? Don't feel like that at all. If you don't know, you don't know.
No, I really don't.
That's what it is.
I know I didn't know when I turned 25 or 33 on the 25th, so.
Yeah, and you didn't know then?
No.
So that was April 25th, so it was in May sometime?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's what we do know about that weekend. She was murdered on Friday night into Saturday, early hours of Saturday morning. We know Steve was at the bar that night, and then she was also in the area. So, do you remember him ever talking about looking up at any girls down there, or
He's always
doing
something. Buying tickets?
Yeah.
He's always talking about if Jordan's not there or out of town or they're in the phrase to go, let's go get, but obviously I don't do that.
Go find some other apps, whatever.
He's the type of person that always wanted to ask.
Did you ever talk with anybody specifically, or did you ever see him at dickheads with anybody, any girls specifically?
Just one recent, I shouldn't say recently, but she shaved head and tattoos all, and he brought her back, and I was like, oh no, I'm home.
Okay. Going back to when you first met him at all, around May, do you remember seeing him with any girls there?
No. The only other girl he talked about was Jordan. He called her Pocahontas or whatever.
Okay.
He saw Steve with a tattooed woman leave the bar in Francis's truck. Steve didn't return until morning. That inconsistent account forces investigators to recheck timelines and search for missing pieces.
Other than that, when I'm sitting there, usually I go there by myself, so majority of the time I do. But now, like I said, now I have a girlfriend. She comes there every once in a while with me. The majority of the time I go there by myself. Or he'll text me when he gets done with work and ask me what I was doing. I'll just say I'm going to have tickets and he'll walk out.
So you knew about Jordan, you talked about her, but then if she wasn't around, you pretty much tried to pick up whatever.
Correct.
How long would you think this chick that he tried bringing home with the shaved head was? If you had to take a guess, I mean, I don't know. Are we talking a month, weeks, days?
No, month or a little more than a month. Just know that she had shaved head, tattoos. I seen him there with her, and I got a safe ride home, and then he took my truck back.
Okay.
And he said, oh, she wouldn't leave me alone, she jumped in. I'm like, dude, you can't stay here. And he used my truck to bring her home, but he didn't come back the whole night. So he came back in the morning.
Did he ever talk in details about when he crashed his truck or when it got stolen?
He just said he let the keys in the ignition and was stolen out of that place.
Never talked about that any other time?
No, and then when I asked him if cops ever found who stole it or found the truck, he said they found it ablaze or whatever, on fire, charred or whatever it is.
So he's been with you, staying on the couch for about 2 months, I think?
Yeah, but possibly a little bit more.
How much have you been charging him?
Just 150
Like a month? Week?
month.
Conversation turns to phones. Francis says Steve kept multiple handsets and frequently swapped SIMs. Those changes point to attempts to hide contacts and movements, which investigators view as important leads.
In your place, he said something about he knew there was a phone or something around that he didn't use or that you were looking for to bring here.
Yeah.
What, can you tell me what that was about?
Oh, no, just any information I can give. That was his old, the phone that he has now, he said his woman or whatever, people that he was staying with shut it off on him, so he had to get a new one. And then he always had that phone laying on. I had the red box, it was sitting.
Yep.
Over there. Yep.
So the phone that would have been over there was the old one?
Yep.
Okay.
No, I just knew that you guys did the phone because they said that. I'm like, they can have my phone for all I care.
Yeah. So the phone by the couch was his old one.
That you said
got
was
shut off.
by the house, like the woman that lives there, or his friend's wife. That's what he told me. So that's why he got this new one.
And do you know if the new one that he said his Jordan or someone got, or got?
Oh, I believe he said he had to go get it.
Do you know about how long he's had that phone, or when that all happened? Was he staying with you when it happened, or?
Was it with me, or? Quite possibly it could be with me, because there's still that, when I was picking up everything, well, granted, thanks for turning off the air conditioning, I was sweating my balls off when I got home.
Alright, I didn't.
No, but there's a box there, or whatever, that I seen, it could possibly be with me or right before me.
Okay. Do you know of any other phones you might have had?
Just those two.
When, you said you helped him move his stuff, or?
No.
No, did he have?
Jordan did.
Jordan helped him. Just from looking at your place, so was that all this stuff pretty much on the table?
Yep. Except for one of my clothes baskets was there too.
Okay.
I believe so. But all that stuff, yes. But, and then there was that drawer full of crap that was mine. I was sitting on a table, or chairs, a bunch of boxes.
Okay.
That stuff was mine.
And I mean, we looked at it, and we saw your name in there, so I think, I haven't got what you're talking about. So there would have been laundry basket, that was your stuff?
The circle one was his, my, rectangle one was mine. If it was there, if not, it was in my bedroom. I believe I had one out there.
Asked about belongings, Francis lists laundry baskets, chargers, a small box, items that investigators now treat as possible evidence. In the probe, ordinary domestic objects suddenly gain outsized importance.
Do you know if there was several phone chargers out in the living room by the couch, hanging out of the wall?
Phone chargers?
Yeah.
Oh, phone chargers?
Chargers. In the outlet right there? Do you know where those?
I know, you said one was, both of them were right there by the couch, those were his. And the ones that, I had one plugged in, I had the fast charger with me, so, and there was one in my bedroom, the black one that was on the shelf, that's mine, and then fast charger was with me on, or work, all the chargers were his.
Okay.
So right by the TV there was, I know, fast charger was there, but it was one of those wider ones, like that.
Okay. So you had two charges, one was with you and the other was
On the shelf.
in your room, or?
Yeah, in the room on the shelf. Or when you walk in that. Just got the place to save up money, so because I want to get a duplex in November, so.
Do you ever remember him talking about, I kind of hit on this a little bit, given any other girls' rides home or anything
If I
come to
know,
mind?
oh, go home with someone, you mean, or anything like that? Just one girl, I know Dallas, I would have to look at my phone and go to Facebook and find her name, but I know she went with him to that house, and then I know that she spent the night there.
From the call say? What was the name?
I wouldn't, like I said, Dallas, he didn't bring Dallas home. It was like a cousin or one of her best friends, so I would have to look on Facebook to find her name. I could get that name.
Okay.
I know it by face.
Who's Dallas though?
Not a regular at the bar.
So somebody that Dallas knew that he brought home?
It was right before he was leaving to go back home. It was like the night or two before.
You just talked about it, or you see him leave with this some girl, or did you see it happen, or you just know of it, or?
I just know of it.
Okay. So Dallas is a regular at the bar, and was a friend of Dallas, is that understandable?
One of her best friends, yeah.
Francis mentions Dallas, a bar regular whose full name he doesn't recall. She left with Steve days before he departed. That timing prompts investigators to seek her testimony to verify his movements now.
And this was a few days before he went back to
Wherever he said he was from, yeah. I want to say like a day or two. Or a night or two, I should say. My name is not going to be out to the press and everything, and they start hounding me or anything, is it? No. Because I just don't want to affect my job or...
I don't think it will. What I'd like to do, based on what we talked about, is just get a written statement from you about what we detailed and what you can remember. What's going to be happening in the next couple of days is, I mean, obviously, him being under arrest is going to hit the press. There's not much we can do about that.
Right. They're not going to have my address or anything like that, or
No.
hounding.
Everything we're doing is sealed. So there's not going to be public access to any of our reports, stuff like that, while the investigation is ongoing and going through court. Now, way down the line, I can't tell you that it won't become public record eventually.
Okay.
And what goes through the court system, because there's going to have to be a criminal complaint, I don't know that that can be sealed, so to speak. But that is based on, it's going to be based pretty much what happened to this point. So this information, I can't make promises. I don't know 100%. I don't know that our conversation right now is going to make it in a criminal complaint right now. Is it going to be in a complaint later on? Because there's a lot of information we're still following up with going on. It's possible.
It's possible that testify and everything too?
Anything's a possibility. I don't want to sit here and tell you absolutely not. You're never going to have to worry about this again, because it wouldn't be fair for me to try to make you that promise.
Something that I really don't want lingering.
Yeah, and no, I get what you're saying. It's not fun to realize what's going on and what's happening.
Oh, not at all.
So this Dallas person, you know from the bar, and you don't know her name for sure, but you have her on Facebook or something?
Dallas, like, all I have to do is, like, she wants, be a bar hop too,
Okay.
but her friend, yes.
Okay.
I'll have to look on Facebook though. For some odd reason, I want to say Suzanne for some odd reason, but don't quote on me. Okay.
Detectives assure him reports stay confidential. Francis hesitantly shares Dallas's Facebook, torn between fear and cooperation. Each reluctant detail tightens the outline of a darker truth for investigators.
Do you know Suzanne, or do you know what she looks like?
Yeah, that's why I said if I could just...
Find it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a face person, not a remember names type of guy.
Do you know Dallas's last name or anything?
I do, but not off the top of my head.
Okay. But something you look up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I've got to remember my password.
Yeah, it was one of those on your phone.
Yeah.
It's gonna ask you to remember password, I have to say no, I'm not, I don't need to know your password or anything like that, it's not what I was, not what I'm looking for, really, no.
065. It's been so long since I did it on the computer.
It just shows up on here, like goofy, like almost like a phone, but not like that.
Dallas Butt is the name.
Oh, just BUTT.
I'm just gonna go through her pictures because they have pictures together. Yeah, this is really weird.
Yeah, I know it's not a thing, it's basically like looking it up on a cell phone internet, but not the app.
It's that person who, it's her.
Right, is that Dallas or is it different?
That's Dallas, that's her friend.
Okay.
I wish she would take. Dallas future photos. Just, yeah, I'll be like back out of this. I have no idea. I'll never let her know. I'm supposed to look the whole thing. Or just go back to,
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, that's right.
Francis first misidentified, then confirmed Dallas and Sylvia on Facebook. Faces sharpened on the screen, yet instead of easing doubts, they only thickened the circle of suspicion around Steve.
oops, sorry. That's Sylvia.
Sylvia. Oh, okay, that's Suzanne and Sylvia?
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe that's her. Looks just like her.
Right.
I just want to make sure. That's her.
Sylvia. Okay. That works. Make sure you log out of here. Okay, figure out how to do that. Like I said, I'm not looking for access to your Facebook.
No, no.
Right now, that, so.
I have nothing to hide on there anyway, so I don't really care.
All right, so log out, so.
Gotcha.
So kind of back to the question I was getting at. So you remember he took Sylvia home at one point, a little bit before he left for his trip. Any other girls that you remember him talking about or going with?
Just the
Picking up or?
Just Jordan and that one that he brought over.
Okay. I'll go back in. I realized we didn't really nail down exactly when you guys first started hanging out, other than in May sometime. Do you remember anything about him personally, like his demeanor or anything like that changing? Like
Oh,
when
he just seemed friendly all the time. And going on with the flow, he's asking, he's like, all I want to do is go to bonfires, meet people like that, asking what I all do. I go, like, told him I go up north. He's like, oh, that'd be awesome.
Okay. Do you remember seeing anything about any of his vehicles? I know you kind of said you never really drove them in.
I was just in, I was in a gray one.
Great, 151 time. Okay.
But we went from Dickheads to Crossies, and then we were to Lucky Sevens and back to Dickheads.
Throughout this case, we've been collecting DNA samples, both from crime scenes and everybody that we can tell is associated. Okay, doing that. And like I'm telling you right now, I don't have any reason to believe that you're involved. But what happens is we get all these different samples. At least we can say, if for some reason, we have an unknown sample, say like on his clothes or something like that, we can say, well, here's his roommate, that's where that came from. So there's other consent form there. Oh, I know it's kind of a technicality, but is that, can you tell me what that is?
Steve.
Detectives requested DNA. Francis hesitated, anxious about the process, yet agreed. He understood even the faintest trace might unravel hidden truths and bring clarity to the violent crime at hand.
And it just shows you how little you can trust people.
Yeah, I mean,
Trust me, it's a big eye-opener.
crazy situation.
It's a big eye-opener. 100%. And I was always that type of, friend, you gotta help my buddy Josh out. It's the same thing until he got his feet on the ground for a few months, and then he got his apartment.
Similar to the other form, it says that you hereby consent to give local swabs, which is the oral swabs, which we obtained by officer investigator. Now it's me in Brown County Sheriff's Office. I've been advised and understand that an authorized representative of the Wisconsin Crime Lab will examine these samples. So what we're going to do is basically just send them for exclusionary purposes to say, okay, so if you see out of all the stuff that's been tested, if this comes up, we know where it's from, this is why. As a collection procedure explained to me by Officer Lockdown, basically it's 2 swabs, one in each cheek, and then I'll seal them up and throw them in an envelope right here. And like I said, it says in this one, you understand that you do not have to submit to the collection of the said samples, and I do so willingly and knowingly, and I understand the sample will not be kept permanently. So this is kind of the fine print form we go through with everybody. It's sign there and then print your name after. Let's use back with your phone, girl.
I still don't want to go back to the place, to be truthfully honest.
Hopefully your phone will be done shortly. And like I said, what I'd like to do is just go through the information we talked about and just kind of put it on paper as what we talked about in this side of the story.
Attention shifted to shoes, new Jordans, old slippers, worn sneakers. To Francis, they were daily objects, but to detectives, they looked like silent witnesses that might tell the story of murder.
You never thought in a million years I'd be in an investigation like this.
Well, I realize it's not what anybody wants to have to deal with, so at least you're here in this circumstance, and you're not, sitting there in handcuffs or anything like that. Like I said, from the get-go, I don't have any reason to believe you're involved in what happened, but unfortunately, you have knowledge of him and his background, so that's why we need to talk to him.
That's totally understandable.
Unfortunately, it's staying with you too, so that kind of throws you in the middle of things.
Which sucks. Well, this stuff's, I told Jordan to come pick up his when she was there, she said, you want me to give him something? Yeah. So, if you want to go through it again, that's fine.
I know there were shoes by the door, were those all his?
Not all of them, though. Jordans, and then, he just bought those new Jordans probably a month and a half ago, I want to say, the black ones. And then he has, whatever, his slippers, or whatever.
What about a pair that was in the kitchen, like under a chair, under the boxed up stuff?
The all white, raggedy ones?
Yeah.
Those are mine.
Okay. So the black Jordans and the slippers by the door are his?
And no work boots outside.
What size shoe do you wear?
Oh, crap.
Depends on the shoe.
It really does, but I would say 14 or 15. But if you want to take my shoes too and you know, do whatever, that's fine with me too.
Well, there were some shoes by the door, and we took 3 pairs, so we may have a couple of yours in there. That's why I'm asking these questions, so we can identify who's it.
Because there's little white Nike shots with blue, because I have 2 pairs of those. Those are mine. The crappy ones that were back by the back door when I came in, the really raggedy, those were my old ones. I wear those up north. And then a dress pair and the slip-on ones with that dock ones.
Yeah. So his only ones by the front door would have been the black Jordans, the boots outside, and then slippers or sandals or slippers, you know?
The white sandals and the tan sandals are mine.
Okay. But there's a pair of slippers or something there?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. So, like that form said, this is what we do is 1 swab from each cheek.
Okay.
These are prepackaged. And we'll start with the right side.
Francis grew uneasy, sometimes dodging. Relentless questions pinned him down, forcing fragments of memory to surface, small scattered details that began shaping the outline of a chilling crime scene.
And what I'm going to do with this is basically just going to enter it into our property. And then eventually it'll get sent to the crime lab just as a comparison.
Good. W-A-S-S-E-N-B-E-R-G.
So what I'd like to do, like I said, is just kind of go through it, put on paper what we talked about,
Sure.
and we'll just type that out.
Detectives documented his statement line by line. Francis finally signed, realizing his casual words had transformed into evidence with power to determine fates and shed light on that brutal night.
This is it there for 304 yet, or is it your zip code 304 or is it 32?
Or no, for 303.
Good. What was your phone number?
920-412-0665.
So, basically, like I said, it says your information on top, and these are gonna kind of take it up, we talked about a little bit. So I'll start with, that you frequent Richard Cranian's bar on Broadway Street, and in May of 2016, you met a guy you knew as Big Country, who, you know, his first name's Steve, or no, Steve, something that started with a B.
Burch or whatever it is.
Actually, let's start with today's date that you met with me here, and understand that you're not in trouble. I just want that to be clear. And then you're given a statement to me. If I put I'm a regular customer.
Yeah, go ahead.
You originally met him as Big Country, and then later learned his name was Steve Burch.
Yes.
And he also basically became a regular.
Yes.
Francis recalled first meeting Steve at a bar. A stranger became familiar, blending into their circle. None suspected his friendly smile might conceal darkness, waiting silently to emerge one night.
Good. Eventually learned his name was Steve Burch. And you also kind of got to know Steve through Jeffro.
No, he was,
We all just kind of started hanging out together.
Yeah, he's a regular too, so he would chit chat with us and everything, and, you know, pre-parties and stuff like that.
That's Jeff Herman's. Jeffro like that? Is that what you call him?
Yeah.
Is it like Jethro, like
Jeff
TH?
Roll. I have it as Jeff Roll, but R-O-W, but
Okay.
it could be Jeff Roll and all two.
That's okay. However you know it, it's fine. Whatever you...
That's just how I spell it.
So what you know about Steve, he was originally staying
Somewhere in that vicinity. Like I said, I can go back that way.
When I looked at the map, it's around south up the street. Had a house on the right side,
Right,
west
yeah.
side.
Yep.
And we're not sure which street it was up in, but you've been there with him or had dropped him off
I
or
dropped
something.
them off.
And as far as you knew, he moved in there with a friend of his. He moved from out east somewhere,
Somewhere, yeah. Missouri,
or that's what he told you.
yeah.
Steve's past unraveled. Talk of marriage, children, and restless moves between towns. The more Francis recalled, the more detectives sensed cracks in his story, shadows creeping through details.
Where's he originally from then? Or you can't say?
Virginia. So it's out east.
That sounds familiar now. Yep.
Steve told you that he moved there to stay with his friend from out east, let's say.
I think he said his friend was originally out there too, but he moved here, and then he just followed him or something like that. I know he was married and kids and stuff, so who knows if that's all true, or how they know each other.
Who's married, like Steve or?
Steve's friend.
Steve's friend. Oh, I thought it was Steve's friend is married and has kids. And you were aware, he told you that he was paying him $150 a week.
I believe that's what it is, yeah.
That's what I think Steve had told us, and said that he was
Because
paying $150.
I do remember saying, holy shit, that's outrageous.
Best guys, but I think Steve had said that he was paying him $150 a week for rent. So do you remember about when it came up that he wasn't staying there, or how that came up?
Like I said, the night that he was with Sylvia, like 2 days after the fact, and then he moved in with Jethro, after he went out back home, so he says, and then when he came back, he moved in with Jethro. So, 4 months probably, because he lived with Jethro for like a month or two.
Okay. So you're thinking he went back out east for 3 or 4 days, I think you said?
Yeah.
Sorry. And if you had to say when, how long do you think you were talking, you might have made?
If they get my text message, I think, and they go through all of it,
stuff in there.
like him asking me if he can move in and stuff.
Okay. Well, that'll work. That was a couple months ago at least.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that he moved in with me?
That he went out east.
A few months, because he lived with Jethro for 2 months, 2 months or a month and a half or something like that.
And you hit a little bit on why he was, or did he say why he was going out there or something?
Yeah, he stood out there, his mom passed away and she had land, and they were, like, the family was fighting over it, and he was like the only son or something like that. And when he got out there, our uncle was on the property and one of them on the property, and everything was going to courts. So he couldn't go on the property, so he decided to come back.
Steve's trip back east raised questions. Family disputes over land and his mother's passing were his alibi, yet the turmoil felt like a cover, an unstable life hiding darker intentions beneath.
So when he came back, he didn't stay on the cul-de-sac place anymore?
No, he went with Jethro. Went down with Jethro. Jethro took him, and then gave him a job. Because he did ask me, and I said I couldn't.
You know where Jethro is?
Okay. Now what street, what's
So think of.
take my street, go down 15 and go around, and you take your next right, and you go over right before the rail tracks, you take a left, whatever street the name of that is.
Western?
Is that Western? And then it goes down, and then there's all the big trucks, salt trucks, and all that stuff on the left-hand side.
I don't know. That's okay. We don't know. I'm not 100% sure.
It's the first left, right, you know, if you're going down Oneida.
Yeah.
And then you'll pass the public service or whatever, and then there's that old crappy apartment complex and the Boys and Girls Club.
Yep.
Right there, take a left.
Okay.
And then you go, then you go over the railroad tracks, but you don't go over it, it's right, left right before it.
Okay.
We'll just have to look on
in
Google.
that area, anything, check it out. Boys and Girls Club.
So where's Oneida? There it is.
Oneida's.
And this is Mason? Western.
To the western. I was thinking next to the railroad tracks, I know, that's what I was thinking, western, I was pretty sure it was on one side of the tracks there.
Descriptions of hiding places emerged: railroad tracks, shabby apartments, friends' couches. Detectives pieced together his drifting existence, searching for the moment where chance encounters turned into deadly choices.
So I believe he stayed with Jeffro for a month or a month and a half.
Something like that. I think this is September. He gave me the money up front for September. And he's only been living in 2 months.
So that Jeffro then said he had to go.
Because his daughter was coming back to school or something like that. I believe so. Well, his wife, or his ex-wife or ex-girlfriend, they had a kid would have said that she didn't want a stranger living there with a teenage daughter. So he just told him he had to go. And that's when he called me up.
So you agreed to let Steve stay on your couch for $150 a month?
Yeah.
And he's been in your own place for about 2 months. So we talked about when he was driving, and the only truck you ever saw him driving was the gray F-150.
Yeah. He did talk about having another vehicle, but I don't know what it was. Because he said he came here with 2 vehicles or something like that.
So we talked about the gray Ford that got stolen.
I was in that truck.
Was that?
I drove in that truck.
You
I was a
yeah.
passenger in the truck, yes.
Okay. But he talked about it later on.
Yeah.
He said it was stolen, and it was found later.
On fire or whatever.
Vehicles told another story: a Ford F-150, missing keys, rumors of fire. Francis recounted Steve's tales, but investigators sensed truth tangled in lies, each engine's roar masking footsteps of violence.
And he mentioned that he said the keys were in it.
Yeah.
When it was stolen. Did he say where it was stolen from?
Where the cul-de-sac was. Or where he was standing before. Because it was stolen, he said it was stolen right a little bit before you left. to my phone. Skyler, something like that. Here it goes.
So when she wasn't around, he would try to pick up other girls.
When I had in the fight, yeah, basically. Or if she was able working, he was out at a bar, he would try.
And you remember that at one point you were home, about a month ago, some girl shaved head and tattoos.
Yep. Some Catholic girl, I was like, no, go.
And he drove her home and stayed with her wherever.
He used my truck to bring her, well, I took a safe ride that night, I forgot what day it was, but he was, since he saw it, because I don't lock my doors, there's a piece of crap Ford, his 94 rust bucket that I had forever, so.
So it was your truck to take her home and then
Came back
return the next morning?
Yeah.
Women entered the narrative. Sylvia, Jordan, fleeting faces with tattoos. To friends, casual flings. To detectives, fragile threads linking Steve to nights of chaos where temptation and tragedy intertwined.
And I guess while we're on that topic, the other girl we talked about was Sylvia, that we identified. Who's friends with Dallas, who's also in.
But that was a one-night thing. It was sort of kind of, he was saying that, because he told everyone that he was going back for good.
So you know, he took home a girl named Sylvia on one occasion. Sylvia's a friend of a girl named Dallas, but it's also one of the original Creeds.
That was, like I said, 1 or 2 days prior to him leaving.
Okay. So we talked about a little bit of the stuff at your place, what belonged to him.
I also had some of the food in the fridge too, was some of his. But all the clothes on the table, a couple pairs of shoes, or 8 pairs of shoes, because I don't know what he did with the last ones. And then those slippers, and then clothes. Then whatever was in the bags over there, which was, I was thinking that was lube and stuff like that.
In the kitchen.
Yeah.
So clothes on the kitchen table and in the bags, or whatever was in the bags. Was his.
Detectives pressed about clothes, shoes, chargers. Everyday items became silent witnesses, each detail logged carefully, as if these objects themselves could whisper secrets of that fateful night to the room.
And then the black doors and slippers by the door. There it is. I just want to know if there's stuff in the rectangular laundry basket and boxed up stuff in the kitchen or the quarters.
I don't even know, the box stuff, I didn't even know if I had my, rectangular went in there or not. And when I came back home, it was laying on my bed. When you walked in the room, was there a clothes basket on the table, on the chair?
Kitchen? Right here.
In my room. There was a chair right there, right when you walked in.
I don't remember.
Well, I used my clothes basket and put it on and put the fan on. Oh no, I didn't do that last night. So, possibly could have done in there. I have a bunch of clothes baskets anyways. And all mine are all rectangular, so.
So the two phone chargers
Right by
on the wall by the door.
Was this?
Also, there's a quick charger by the TV.
About TV. None of my chargers were plugged in. Because I had my clip charger with me at work and the other one was laying on the shelf.
I just grabbed the phone itself. The phone that was, do you remember where it was or where you saw it last?
I saw it last, it was on the box, where I saw it last. I went to work before you. Today I had to go in from 7 to 3. So I left about 6.
So when I was on the box by the couch, Steve's old phone, and you know that one got turned off.
He said about a woman that was a cul-de-sac, his friend's wife, or something like that. That's why I gotta get a new one.
The tone grew heavier. Francis denied Steve could be tied to homicide, yet doubts lingered. Even ordinary habits, once overlooked, now carried the eerie weight of potential evidence in silence.
Very specific about what we talked about and the questions I was asking. You don't remember him talking about any of the girls, taking any of the other girls, and then we talked about home, being weird about anything back a while back, or nothing that would be weird to you, or, and from what you know about him at least,
Right.
that you found that would be odd, or no other ideas about a homicide?
No. Trust me, if I did the other than me a long time ago, so.
screwed up or we need to redo, just let me know. So today's date, Minnesota Platte, that was me, and the Burch County Sheriff's Office will provide a statement. I'm Brenda, customer at Richard Greening's Bar on Broadway Street in Green Bay. In May of 2016, I met a male I originally knew as a big country at the bar. He also started being regular at the bar, and I eventually learned his name is Steve Burch. I also know Jeff Hermans, who I refer to as Jeffro, from Richard Greening's. I know that Steve was originally staying on a cul-de-sac, not to make Apple happy.
I second.
So, that runs south off the 5th.
Is it with a B?
Cul-de-sac?
Yeah. Does it have a B in it? Cul-de-sac or?
Talk returned to vehicles and burnt trucks. Layers of deception surfaced, stories repeated but never aligned. Detectives saw through the haze, drawing closer to a timeline that only Steve could confirm.
Cul-de-sac that runs off of 5th, or south off of 5th at a house on the west side of the street. I don't remember the street, but I had dropped him off there in the past. Steve told me that he moved there to stay with his friend from out east. His friend is married and has kids. I think Steve said that he was paying $150 a week for rent. I remember that Steve went home to the East Coast for 3 or 4 days a few months ago. He said his mom passed away and the family was fighting over land. He said his uncle was on the land and wouldn't let him on it. Steve said that it was all in court, so he decided to come back. Steve came back, he moved in with Jeffro on Western Avenue. Jeffro also gave him a job. Sounds kind of weird. Jeffro gave him a job. I believe he stayed with Jeffro for about a month or a month and a half. Jeffro then said Steve had to move out because his daughter was staying with him. That's kind of the short version of it. At that point, Steve called me and asked if he could stay with me. I agreed to let Steve stay on my couch for $150 a month. I lived at my place on 15th for about 2 months. The only vehicle I ever saw Steve driving was a gray Ford F-150. He had talked about having another vehicle, but I'm not sure what it was. Steve told me that the truck was stolen and later found on fire. Steve told me that the keys were in the truck and it was taken from the house off of 5th Street when he was staying there. I know that Steve to be more specific. I know that Steve was seeing a girl named George Seiler, something similar to that. When Jordan was around or at work, he would try to pick up other girls. I remember about 1 month ago, Steve brought home a girl with shaved head and tattoos. I told him she couldn't stay at my place. Steve used my truck.
Shaved head and one, the shade on the side and one on the top. Just if you want to be specific.
Yeah.
And like tattoos on chest, so tattoos. Shaved hair on the side and on the top.
But with hair that was
On the top.
Shaved
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, right? Like how some people do that and then keep the long hair on top.
She also had tattoos on her chest, you said?
She had a lot of tattoos. I didn't know. Those girls.
That wasn't with a lot of tattoos. So, Steve brought home a girl with hair that was shaved on the sides and one on top. She also had a lot of tattoos. I told him she couldn't stay at my place. Steve used my truck to drive her home and return the next morning. I know Steve also took a girl named Sylvia home on one occasion. Sylvia's friends with a girl named Gail Sput that is a regular at Richard Greening's. That was 1 or 2 days prior to him leaving for home out east.
Everyday clutter became clues: slippers, laundry baskets, chargers by doors. Investigators knew such minor details, if overlooked, could unravel the case. The walls seemed to close in on Francis's wavering memory.
At my house, Steve had his clothes on the kitchen table, and whatever was in the bag was Steve. He had a pair of black Jordans, a pair of slippers by the door, the stuff in the rectangle laundry basket, and the boxed up stuff in the kitchen is mine. 2 phone chargers on the wall by the door are Steve's, as well as a quick charger near the TV. I have a quick charger that I had at work, and my other charger was on the shelf in my bedroom. The phone that was on the box by the couch was Steve's old phone. I got turned off by a woman, friends wife, that he lived with off of 5th Street. He told me that he didn't have to get a new phone. I never had any idea that he could be involved in a homicide. I don't know if any other girls he might have gone home with. Is that accurate?
No.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is line up the pay break. And I'll have us both initial. Up there. It's anywhere in that area there. Yeah, press a little harder than I see that. And then at the bottom it says I've given the statement of my own free will. And no force, threats, or promises are made to me to obtain a statement of 2 pages. It is true and correct to the best of my knowledge. The statement has been read to me by source not found. I have read it. If you're agree with it, sign on that line. We'll go right there. Down the bottom again.
Like I said, the text message should show, like, when we exchange numbers and all. Because he had his old phone, and then I switched the names, but it still came up as Big Country. You guys can still go through that, or no?
Yeah, we have those numbers, so we'll be able to identify.
That'll also give you a rough estimate time too, when, you know, when you start texting and everything, okay?
Yeah. Just to show you what I do with this, is just email to myself as a PDF file.
Sure.
So, if you're familiar with the PDF, then it doesn't get changed at all, so that'll be all I do here. Let me go check on your phone, and if you want, you can hang out here, or if you want to go back up in the waiting room, whatever you're comfortable with, and if you need to use the bathroom, this
Well,
one's
I'm still comfortable being here, so.
I get it, not comfortable either, but.
Technology entered the frame. Phones, texts, PDFs. What seemed trivial became crucial. In the detective's hands, every message, every timestamp was a potential nail tightening the lid on Steve's story.
Oh, like I said, this week I work 11 to 7, or maybe like next week I work 11 to 7, and then the following 2 weeks I work 7 to 3.
Okay.
Well, one day I work 11 to 7, then I go back in, because one person in the office is off, so I go in the office and do all the work.
Where do you work at?
SPG.
Okay, what?
It's on Packland. It's all I use for paper. It's right by the post office up there.
Okay. Gotcha. Were you decent there?
Sorry, I turned Pacific by like a couple years ago, so.
Okay.
Alright, decent, so, nice job.
Yeah. Could be worse.
Oh yeah, could be a lot worse.
Alright, let me go check on your phone, and I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you need to, there's a bathroom right down the hall here on the left.
Alright, thank you.
Here's, your phone is on airplane mode. Okay. That's just their standard procedure to do thing. How long have you had that phone?
Sure I can talk to you, so I had it for a few months now.
Okay. In the download that she was able to do, there's, you know, the text conversations that we talked about when he was texting you aren't on there. And it's not a huge deal because it's a newer phone. It's a different phone than he might have texted you on before, or when he got back from wherever.
I think I had my old one. I would have to find it. But I believe it's only been a few months, like I said, since I had this. But
And it's not that huge of a deal, because I mean, from what you're telling me, we kind of have his timeline mapped out, so I realize what you're telling me.
well, I can still
Accurate.
try to find the phone and.
If you're willing to do that, if you can find it, and give me a call, and you know, we can pick it up or.
Good, I can save my photos on because it's all wet.
Oh, did it get wet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I had to get this one.
Okay. Yeah, no. I guess if that's the case, I don't know. I'm not gonna promise you anything, but if they can do anything with it, but yeah, maybe if you do come up with it, we can take a look at it in the future. Is there anything that I can answer for you right now. I mean, I realize I might not be able to tell you super
I know
detailed, but,
But, what, do they know what it's over?
what do you mean?
Like, why? Possibly?
Not really. We have theories.
Spare on the moment type of thing, or?
We're not sure. Like I said, there's different theories out there. He didn't want to talk to us, so.
Detectives revealed theories. They knew Steve was nearby the night tragedy struck. Questions of motive lingered, but the weight of evidence began circling him like vultures sensing weakness in prey.
There's still, like I said, that's kind of why we're going through this process right now, of talking to as many people as we can, trying to get some background and figure out.
Jericho told me about when you guys pulled him over and arrested him and everything. And he said that, Jericho was like, what did you do? And Steve didn't say shit.
Yeah.
But I just,
yeah, there's a lot of why questions out there yet.
opening the door to someone and
But,
thinking that, he's a good person. And this,
I can tell you the background we've done since his name came up. We basically have come up with information to believe he did it. So, we're pretty comfortable with that. Obviously, he got arrested. So.
right. Just glad you guys didn't bust down while I was sleeping or something outside.
Yeah. And like I said, we've been watching a little bit, so, we figured out we'd stay with you, and, so we just kind of went from there, so.
But yeah, if you guys need, you got my number, anything needed. If I find out, I'll give you, most I guess still got your card, so.
Okay. Yeah, if it comes up, give me a call. Obviously, I'm not always here in the office, but leave me a message, that's my straight direct line, so I'll get the voicemail and I'll get back to you. Okay?
So I go straight to your cell phone or something, or?
I don't have it, that's my cell phone, but I'm the only one that'll get the message there,
Okay.
so.
Alright.
Alright, well, thanks for coming in, appreciate your information, and,
Freak out.
yeah, I can imagine.
And there's nothing I need to worry about, or like, he was involved in something that I need to...
No,
Make sure.
I think, being that he's from out of town, I think he kept it pretty hush-hush, what happened, however it happened. And so I don't think anybody else was involved, and I don't think...
And you're saying the woman was a regular at Richard Graham's too?
That I don't.
Oh, I thought when you were talking, for some reason...
We know he was down there that night, and we know she was also in the area. We don't know if she was exact details, but it looks like they were at least in that same vicinity, and one way or the other, they got together. So, or ended up together, so. So there's still a lot of why questions there. And like I said, that's kind of why we're trying to nail down a timeline and where he was exactly.
Yeah, hopefully the cameras go out. Or, any bar around there, cameras go back that far. That would help out tremendously.
Yeah, and that's all stuff I think we'll be following up with, figure out, so. All right, well, thanks again for coming in.
No,
Get you out of here.
yeah.
If anything comes up, give me a buzz.
No, you guys do have items, how do I retrieve those then?
We're probably gonna hang on to them for now.
Just take both pairs of shoes away from me?
How about this, if you can at least figure out if you notice stuff that's gone, jot it down and let me know.
Okay.
And that way I can document it, and, unless we come up with some reason we really
I
need
might
it.
know exactly where that phone is. In the box.
The interrogation closed, but the verdict echoed louder. Steve, once just a drifter with stories, was sentenced to life without parole, justice sealing the fate of a violent night.
আমার একটা শর্ট চ্যানেল আছে, কিন্তু সেই শর্ট চ্যানেলে মনিটাইজেশন দিচ্ছে না। এখন আমি সেখানে কি লং ভিডিও আপলোড করলে মনিটাইজেশন পাবো? হ্যালো বন্ধুরা, আজকে আমার এই ভিডিওর মাধ্যমে যারা নতুন আছেন অবশ্যই আমার চ্যানেলটি সাবস্ক্রাইব করে পাশের বেল আইকনটি ক্লিক দিয়ে দিবেন, যাতে পরবর্তীতে নতুন নতুন ভিডিও আপলোডের সাথে সাথে আপনারা পেয়ে যান। আর যারা আগে থেকে আমার চ্যানেলটি সাবস্ক্রাইব করেছেন তাদেরকে অসংখ্য ধন্যবাদ। সো এখন কথা হচ্ছে যে ইউটিউবে শর্ট ভিডিওতে মনিটাইজেশন দিচ্ছে না। সো মনিটাইজেশন কেন দিবে না? যদি আপনার সেই শর্ট ভিডিওর মাধ্যমে 1000 সাবস্ক্রাইব এবং 10 মিলিয়ন ভিউজ এসে থাকে, তাহলে আপনি অবশ্যই মনিটাইজেশন পাবেন। কিন্তু সেই মনিটাইজেশন পাওয়ার আগে আপনাকে ফলো করতে হবে যে সেই ভিডিওগুলো আপনার পার্সোনাল ভিডিও কিনা, আপনি কোনো কপিরাইট ভিডিও আপলোড করছেন কিনা। যদি আপনার নিজের ভিডিও হয়ে থাকে তাহলে 100% আপনি মনিটাইজেশন পাবেন। আর যদি সেই ভিডিওটা আপনি অন্য জায়গা থেকে ডাউনলোড করে যদি ইউটিউবে আপলোড করে থাকেন তাহলে তো মনিটাইজেশন কখনোই পাবেন না। সো সেই শর্ট ভিডিওগুলো আপনাকে আগে ফলো করতে হবে। ইউটিউবের যে রুলস আছে মনিটাইজেশনের, সেই রুলসগুলো আপনাকে ফলো করতে হবে। আপনি দেখা যাচ্ছে যে অন্যের ভিডিও দিয়ে আপনি 10 মিলিয়ন ভিউজ নিয়ে আসলেন, সাবস্ক্রাইব নিয়ে আসলেন ঠিক আছে, কিন্তু ভিউজ নিয়ে আসলেন। সো নিয়ে আসার পরে আপনার মনিটাইজেশনের অ্যাপ্লাই বাটন আসলো, আপনি অ্যাপ্লাই করলেন আর মনিটাইজেশন দিল না। সো মনিটাইজেশন না দেওয়ার কারণই হচ্ছে এটা যে আপনি অন্যের ভিডিও আপলোড করেছেন। আর যদি আপনি নিজের ভিডিও আপলোড করে থাকেন সেক্ষেত্রে অবশ্যই আপনি মনিটাইজেশন পাবেন। তবে হ্যাঁ, আপনি যদি বলেন যে কোনো অন্যের ভিডিও না, সম্পূর্ণ নিজের ভিডিও, তা আপনাকে আগে খেয়াল করতে হবে যে সেই ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ড মিউজিক যদি আপনি শর্ট চ্যানেলে যদি আপনি সেই চ্যানেলে শর্ট ভিডিও আপলোড করে থাকেন। আসলে সাধারণত আমরা শর্ট ভিডিও যখন আপলোড করি তখন কিন্তু আমরা এই যে এরকমভাবে এখন এই যে আমি যেভাবে কথা বলছি এভাবে যদি আমরা শর্ট ভিডিও আপলোড করি তাহলে কিন্তু কেউই সচরাচর দেখবে না, কারণ কোনো ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ড মিউজিক নাই, কোনো কিছু নাই। তাহলে কী জন্য দেখবে? দেখলে পরেও দেখা যাচ্ছে সবাই এড়িয়ে চলে যাবে, কেউ দেখবেন এরকম ভাব। সো আপনি যখন শর্ট ভিডিওটা আপলোড করবেন তখন আসলে সেটা আপনাকে খেয়াল করতে হবে, দেখা যাচ্ছে ভিডিওটা আপনার কিন্তু অডিওটা আপনার কিনা। যদি অডিওটা আপনার না হয়ে থাকে, আপনি যদি অডিও সেট করে থাকেন, সে অডিও যদি অন্য কোথা থেকে ডাউনলোড করে কিংবা অন্য কোথা থেকে নিয়ে যদি আপনার ভিডিওতে এডিট করে লাগিয়ে তারপরে সেটি যদি শর্ট ভিডিওতে চালান, সেই ক্ষেত্রেও তো আপনি মনিটাইজেশন পাবেন না, কারণ ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ড মিউজিকটা আপনার না। আপনি যতই বলেন যে আমি ইউটিউবে যে ফ্রি ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ড মিউজিক আছে সেখান থেকে আমি ডাউনলোড করেছি, তারপরও তো অবশ্যই দেওয়ার কথা না, দিবে না। আপনাকে সেই শর্ট ভিডিওতে সেই ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ড মিউজিকটা, ফ্রি ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ড মিউজিক যে ইউটিউব থেকে ডাউনলোড করেছেন সেই মিউজিকটাও আপনার কিন্তু কিছু রুলস আছে, সেই রুলসটা মেনে ব্যবহার করতে হবে। সেটি হচ্ছে আপনি যখন সেই ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ড মিউজিকটা ডাউনলোড করবেন সেটা আপনি আগে সর্বপ্রথম যেখান থেকে ডাউনলোড করছেন সেখানে তাদের ডেসক্রিপশনে কিছু লেখা আছে সেইগুলো ফলো করবেন। তারা যদি ক্রেডিট দিতে বলে আপনার সেই ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ড মিউজিকের জন্য, তাহলে অবশ্যই ক্রেডিটটা দিলে আপনি মনিটাইজেশনটা পাবেন, কারণ সেটা সম্পূর্ণই ফ্রি হয়ে যাবে। আর যদি সেই ক্রেডিটটা আপনি না দেন সেই ক্ষেত্রে কিন্তু মনিটাইজেশন পাবেন না, কারণ সেটা ফ্রি না। সো এই জিনিসটা আপনি যদি খেয়াল করে কাজ করেন তাহলে অবশ্যই আপনি মনিটাইজেশন পাবেন, অন্যথায় আপনি মনিটাইজেশন পাবেন না। মানে এক কথায় আপনাকে যে ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ড মিউজিকটা ব্যবহার করছেন ইউটিউব থেকে ডাউনলোড করে, সেই যেখান থেকে যে ইউটিউব চ্যানেল থেকে ডাউনলোড করছেন সেই চ্যানেলে সেই মিউজিকের অপশনে যাবেন, গেলে পরে যখন চালাবেন যখন ডেসক্রিপশন বক্স আসবে সেই বক্সে আপনি লেখাটা খেয়াল করবেন। তারা সেই ডেসক্রিপশনে লেখা আছে, দেখবেন যে ক্রেডিট, মানে ভিডিও ইউজ করতে গেলে পরে তাদের সেই ক্রেডিটটা দিতে হবে। সেই ক্রেডিটটা কপি করে আপনি আপনার এই ভিডিওর ডেসক্রিপশনে দিয়ে দেবেন, তাহলে আর কোনো অসুবিধা হবে না। আপনি মনিটাইজেশনের জন্য অ্যাপ্লাই করলে পেয়ে যাবেন, কারণ তখন সেই মিউজিকটা ফ্রি মিউজিক হয়ে যাবে। অন্যথায় আপনি হাজার চেষ্টা করলেও মনিটাইজেশন পাবেন না। সো এখন তারপরে আপনি জানতে চেয়েছেন যে সেখানে শর্ট ভিডিও আপলোড, লং ভিডিও আপলোড করে মনিটাইজেশন পাওয়া যাবে কিনা। অবশ্যই যাবে। আপনি যদি আপনার নিজের ভিডিও হয়ে থাকে, আপনি যদি আপনার নিজের ভিডিওর মাধ্যমে সাবস্ক্রাইব ওয়াচ টাইম কমপ্লিট করে ফেলেন, আপনি অ্যাপ্লাই করেন, মনিটাইজেশন পেয়ে যাবেন। এমনকি আপনি যদি এমনকি আপনি যদি মনে করেন যে লং ভিডিও আমার আপলোড করেছে, সব কিছু কমপ্লিট করে আমি মনিটাইজেশনের জন্য আবেদন করেছি কিন্তু তারপরেও দিচ্ছে না। সো যদি আপনার চ্যানেলে শর্ট ভিডিও থেকে থাকে অন্যের, তাহলে সেটার জন্য আপনার চ্যানেলে মনিটাইজেশন দিচ্ছে না। সেই অন্যের শর্ট ভিডিওটা আপনি ডিলিট করেন, ডিলিট করে আপনি আপনার লং ভিডিওতে কাজ করেন, আপনি আপনার লং ভিডিওতে ওয়াচ টাইম কমপ্লিট করেন, অন্যের শর্ট ভিডিওগুলো ডিলিট করে দিয়ে তাহলে আপনি মনিটাইজেশন পাবেন, অন্যথায় পাবেন না। অন্যথায় ওভাবে চেষ্টা করে লাভ নাই। আপনি তাই যখন দেখবেন যে শর্টে আপনার হচ্ছে না, তখন শর্টের যে অন্যের ভিডিওগুলো আছে ডিলিট করে দেবেন, দিয়ে নিজেরটা রাখবেন। নিজেরটা যদি থেকে থাকে তাহলে রেখে দিবেন, আর যদি তাও না থাকে তাও ডিলিট করে দিবেন। দিয়ে আপনি আপনার নিজের ভিডিও, লং ভিডিও তৈরি করে আপলোড করবেন। আপলোড করে মনিটাইজেশনের সকল রুলস কমপ্লিট করে অ্যাপ্লাই করেন, তাহলে আপনি মনিটাইজেশন পেয়ে যাবেন। আশা করি বুঝতে পেরেছেন যে শর্ট চ্যানেলে মনিটাইজেশন কেন দিচ্ছে না এবং সেখানে লং ভিডিও আপলোড করলে মনিটাইজেশন পাবেন কিনা। সো এই জিনিসগুলো আপনি খেয়াল করে কাজ করবেন, তাহলে অবশ্যই আপনি মনিটাইজেশন পাবেন। আশা করি বুঝতে পেরেছেন। তারপরে যদি কোনো বিষয় নিয়ে কিংবা এই বিষয়টা নিয়ে যদি আরও কিছু জানা থাকে আমাকে অবশ্যই কমেন্ট করবেন। আমি চেষ্টা করবো আবার নতুন করে ভিডিও বানিয়ে আপনাদের মাঝে আপলোড করার। সো ধন্যবাদ বন্ধুরা, ভিডিওটি এই পর্যন্ত। ভালো থাকবেন সবাই।